I chose to reflect on something that has stuck with me since the first week of this summer semester. Our classmate Billy shared a story during one of our lectures back in May, and this story is known as the Starfish Parable. Just as a reminder, the story goes like this. One day, an old man was walking along a beach that was littered with thousands of starfish that had been washed ashore by the high tide. As he walked, he came upon a young boy who was eagerly throwing the starfish back into the ocean, one by one. Puzzled, the man looked at the boy and asked what he was doing. Without looking up from his task, the boy simply replied, "I'm saving these starfish, sir." The old man chuckled aloud. "Son, there are thousands of starfish and only one of you. What difference can you make?" The boy picked up a starfish, gently tossed it into the water, and turning to the man said, "I made a difference to that one." I chose to focus on spirituality for this project because I feel it's something that has taken on a new meaning for me this semester. I am Catholic and was raised in a Catholic family, and because so, I often pair spirituality directly with religion. However, this class has offered me an opportunity to consider alternative perspectives of spirituality. And here are just a few photos from the Catholic church and school where I attended elementary and middle school. I would like to share a statement on spirituality that Alice shared with us a few weeks ago. In every human being, there seems to be a spiritual dimension, a quality that goes beyond religious affiliation, that strives for inspiration, reverence, awe, meaning, and purpose, even in those who do not believe in God. As humans, I believe that we are always in search of these five things, especially meaning and purpose. I know for me, becoming a PT will really provide a sense of direction and purpose for my life. I will finally have the tools to really make a difference in the lives of other people, which will in turn make a difference in my life. So, getting back to the starfish story, I believe as the little boy in the story was returning the starfish to the water, he was driven by spirituality. By saving the lives of several of those creatures, he had a purpose. He was driven by something greater than himself, and I think this is really what it's all about. Spirituality is a sense of guidance that allows for a profound connectedness between ourselves and the rest of the world. Realizing that we are developing a tool set that will give us purpose and that will enable us to restore meaning for many other people is essential. We are all unique, just as each of the starfish in the story, and so we will all have our own novel toolbox to work with. Our patients will also come with their own special story, so it is important that we acknowledge this too. In a study by Johnson et al. In the Journal of Rehabilitation titled Psychosocial Mechanisms Explaining the Association Between Spirituality and Happiness in Individuals with Spinal Cord Injuries, it was found that spirituality is associated with happiness indirectly through its association with perceived stress, health status, social support, self-esteem, and psychological well-being, each of which is uniquely associated with happiness. Additionally, spirituality is linked to better health and life satisfaction, and it can be used as a positive coping strategy that may result in improved psychosocial adaptation to a traumatic injury like a spinal cord injury, which is an impairment that we will likely see as clinicians. In a periodical by Claire Coyne titled Addressing Spirituality Issues in Patient Interventions, the importance of incorporating spirituality into patient intervention is confirmed. The author shares a comment from a colleague. As PTs work toward becoming primary care providers, we are necessarily adding to our skill sets, and increasing our competence in understanding a patient's spiritual perspective and its impact on treatment is a skill we also need to be developing. On a slightly different note, I wanted to share an observation I made while attending the AA meeting this semester. While many of the members were sharing their unique stories, many depicted a time they termed as rock bottom. This was that one late night or that one argument that really hit home for them. At this low point, they realized the extent to which their addiction had negatively impacted their lives, and many turned to God for help. I was surprised to hear how many of them decided to drop down and pray at that very moment. And if it wasn't God, it was some other source of spirituality that offered a sense of hope. And it was that same sense of hope that helped them recover and reassemble the lives they once lived. I would like to leave you with one last item. It is indeed true that starfish can see in the dark. I stumbled upon this article while putting together my presentation, and it seemed fitting for the topic and how spirituality ties in with the parable shared at the start. Even in darkness, starfish are able to carry on with life. These spiny creatures remain resilient. Even in the depths of the ocean, the starfish have purpose and meaning. Now, this may seem a bit far-fetched, but I think we can apply this fun fact about starfish when working with patients as professional PTs. We have the responsibility to ask our patients about their spiritual beliefs when appropriate, and we have an obligation to help guide patients in their spiritual journeys, especially when patients are in that darkness. This sense of darkness or rock bottom is the most critical point for spirituality, and simply asking patients about their beliefs or about their personal ambitions and motivations and offering guidance or other resources is paramount. To tie things up, I think it's important to remember where we all were day one of the semester, and to acknowledge how much has changed and how much we've grown since then. Maybe this starfish parable holds greater meaning now that we have considered different aspects of healthcare, and now that we have considered numerous challenges that our patients might be facing. Going forward, don't forget to remind yourself that helping one person may not change the world, but offering your time and your services may change the world for that person.